Alright guys, today we're going to take a look at how you can clean your fork seals to get a little bit better lifespan out of them. Make sure that everything's running smoothly in your front suspension. A couple of things you're going to need. Obviously the fork on your bike. For this example, I just have a fork that's off of a bike. You can do this while it's installed. But like I said, for ease, we have one just on the desktop today. You're also going to need one of these cool little fork seal cleaners that we have available at pinnelectric.com. Whatever fasteners you might have on your fork guards, and a small flathead screwdriver. We're just going to go ahead and start by removing your fork guard. Ours takes a 3mm Allen head is all. Pull these off really quick. Careful not to lose any washers you might have or the screws themselves. Go ahead and set that off to the side. So depending on your fork seal brand, you may have a little retaining spring here. We're going to go ahead and use this flathead screwdriver to very carefully pop that spring off without scratching your tubes. You just have to pull it down a little bit. Now that's free. At this point, your fork seal will be able to be slid down. I'm going to go ahead and also use this to very carefully start with one of the edges. You can see that the dust seal is now free. So it may seem that your fork seals are pretty clean and operating pretty smoothly. However, sometimes you can still get some dirt and grime, small grit in here in your dust seal wiper. So we're going to go ahead and use this cool little tool. This little spot goes up in between the tube and the wiper, and it catches any dirt and grime in this little channel as you go around, making sure that everything's out of there. So we'll go ahead and snap this on. You notice here that it says up, so make sure that you're using this end up. It's a little bit skinnier here. It allows for a tighter fit between the seal and the tube here. So once we slide that up in there, we can go ahead and just run this around the tube carefully and slowly. At this point, it's kind of catching all that, like I said, that dirt and grime between the tube and the wiper seal. So for this example, you'll see that there's a bunch of grease on there. This is a brand new fork. It doesn't have any dirt to get out of there. So once you've cleaned between the wiper seal and the tube, you can also go up here and get between the seal itself and the tube. So this one, be very cautious so you're not going to damage that seal. Don't push too hard, just slide it up in there, spin it around the tube, and pull back out. You can see that there's some grease in here as well. Grease is obviously a good thing when it's clean. If you may need some grease at this time, go ahead and use any dedicated fork seal grease that you choose. Several great brands out there, several options. Once you've got that dirt and grime cleaned out of both the seal itself and the wiper, we'll go ahead and slide it back up into place. Make sure this is seated correctly all the way around. So make sure there's no gaps in there or anything. Make sure it's all tight there. And we'll go ahead and slide the retaining ring back up. And same thing, make sure that it's seated correctly in the channel of that wiper seal. At this point, go ahead and just wipe down the tubes of any remaining grease or any excess dirt you might have gotten onto there. And you can replace your fork guard here. Once you have your fork guard reinstalled, go ahead and do it on the other side of your fork by repeating the process, removing the fork guard, removing the retaining ring, sliding down the wiper seal, scraping out around the wiper seal, scraping out around the actual fork seal, and then replacing everything as it was. Doing so, like mentioned, will give you better lifespan out of your fork seals, help your suspension ride a little bit better, and save you from having to do any fork seal replacement down the road.